Just bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, sorry, but in the meantime,
Sorry, I was not aware of that.
Interested in
Okay, let me see. Here we are.
During 2022, 2023, we have extended the application deadline to March 14th. So if you learn something from this presentation, you're like, oh, I want to go next year, there's still time to apply. So please don't hesitate to do that.
And there are students now that might not be here. I see several people that I wrote letters for that are not here, so I know that there's more people interested out there.
So yeah, let your friends know that the application deadline has been extended.
Maria, is that okay if I move the presentation and then you just you speak along and we just can jump in when it comes to the academics if you want.
Yeah, thank you,
okay,
Guido.
Good.
This is
You're
what
welcome.
I just told you, like those are requirements, you know, the courses that you have to take in Florence. So it's 110. Is there anybody who is not taking Italian right now? Oh, welcome. Okay, are you first year? Okay, excellent. So yeah, have you taken Italian before you take this? I have not. We'll make it work. We'll do our best. I can't talk to us. Okay. So yeah, you need to start from scratch, which is 110, which is the you know, traditional elementary course, or 111, and then everybody has to take the 220, which is the intermediate, and then depending, you know, how much time you have left, you must take one between 245 and 250, although we recommend both. And that's basically that's all. You can read all that on their website as well. And we can talk more about it later, but those are the language requirements. Guido, go ahead.
Maria?
See, you go ahead.
Sorry, would you like me just to, I was just waiting for you. So again, nice to meet you all. And as Maria said, I'm Guido Reverdito. I'm the academic director in the Florence Smith Center. And here, as you can see on the screen, in the fall, you can just, you will have to take a 2-week orientation, and it's a period of, it's an introduction, sort of an introduction. It's a 2 weeks orientation in which you will be attending small courses, one in art history and one in Italian language. And then at the Smith Center, you have to take the ITL 240, which is a language intensive course that will last for the entire semester. Then you can just take one course at the University of Florence, depending on how well you master the language, obviously. But know that the University of Florence offers courses taught in English as well. And here you can ask Gabby and Betsy and Charlotte. They took a class in English, so they can just witness, can confirm that it's a reality, something that actually happens in Florence. On top of that, you have the chance to take 2 additional courses at the 2 Smith courses taught by Italian faculty. One is an art history class, which is basically different than the usually survey classes. It's a class that focuses on the monuments that made Florence great. And then you have a social history class, which begins by the great immigration from Italy to the New World, as they used to call that, and it gets to nowadays, to our days. And then we have this novelty with this new addition to the program, which still has to be approved, and we hope that it will be approved by the beginning of the summer and to be offered in the fall. We are not promising something where we don't want to create expectations that cannot be confirmed, but I mean, we hope that it will be approved so that we'll be able to launch that and to offer that in the fall. In the next slides, we'll give you some extra information about what do we mean with this practicum course. And on top of that, you can just take, as we said, one course at the University of Florence, which has to be approved by me and on top of me by your academic advisor, just to see whether it matches with your credit requirements. Here you have the rationale for the practicum course that we've been working very hardly in the last, I would say, 1 year, even more than 1 year. And as you see, it's a tentative launch date. We hope that we'll be able to launch it by fall 2022. We will have, we will hope that we'll offer 3 different options will be available depending on a series of factors that I will describe you in another slide later. We'll have a traditional internships, a credits-bearing internships, in which you will have a maximum of 15 hours of work per week with a combination of the attending the practicum course at the Florence sede, or you can have a community placement, meaning that it's a service learning activity. You will work for a maximum of 10 hours per week in a placement in an organization. You will see some examples of those. Plus, you will be attending the same course, the practicum course. And on top of that, there is probably the most intriguing option, which is the practical experience, which is a project-based learning experience, which is based on a project that you will be designing yourselves. And as you see, it will be consist of 8 hours of work on your projects. And then you will have just to meet with your instructors and mentors for 3 checkpoints, meaning that they will check on where you will be with your work. And all of those, the combination of the academic component and the work at the placement or the work on your project will provide you with 4 Smith credits. Okay, is that clear? Is that a yes? Okay, good. Okay. Now here you have sort of a preliminary. This is Ponte Vecchio, just one of the most scenic points of the city. Probably you are familiar, even if you have not been to Florence, but everybody is familiar with that, with Ponte Vecchio. The only bridge which was not destroyed by the German army when they retreated from Italy, heading back to northern Germany. It was the only bridge which was spared by the Germans. And here we have some samples. Just do not take those as granted 100%, because it will depend on availability and on some other factors, meaning that these are just examples of potential placements. But remember that they will depend on availability of places, number one, and the supervisors, because we will have to find the people being able to work with you, to design a project with you, or to follow you in your self-designed projects. We will need to find English-speaking staff members for those who will not be mastering the language as well, to be able to work in Italian. And then it will depend on something which is out of our control, depending on the development of pandemic, the status of the pandemic. And we will know. It's something that it's unpredictable. Now things are going pretty well, and there has been a significant decrease of infections cases, but we cannot know what will be the situation in the fall. So it's unpredictable. But just to go to the sample of placements, here, for example, you have Angeli del Bello, which is a volunteer organization. They deal with the cleaning of the streets. You have examples you see on top left of the screen and on the other side of the left side of the screen. And it's a service learning placement. You can clean street and deal with cleaning of monuments and in Florence. That's the Caritas Firenze. It's another service learning placement. You will work with disadvantaged people, and usually you can work in the distribution of food, collection and distribution of food. Service learning again. That's something that we found recently. It seems very intriguing. I have to say that Monica can confirm that. It's just something that we found recently. We have not worked with this organization, but we were so intrigued and fascinated by the opportunity to work with this organization called Freedom. And it could be very appealing for those majoring in environmental studies. It's an internship. That should be an internship, meaning that those opting for that option, they might be working with someone in that organization. Here you have another very interesting option in the Careggi Hospital. Here you see on your left, Professor Mario Milko Delius is a very good friend of Smith College, and Professor Marisa Brignano on top right, and on the other oval, you see a previous Smith in Florence program student who was interning at the neuroscience lab, the neuroscience lab. It's an interesting experience because it's a hands-on. You will be working with Professor Delius and Professor Brignano, actually working with them, and Gabi and Betsy, they can confirm that I'm not just selling something that we cannot sell. Here it's something that has been experienced and tested many terms. Here we have another interest is Flawed. It's a communication agency which is specialized in creating contents in English. That could be appealing for those majoring journalism, media, creative writing, and English language and literature. Another internship plus service learning interesting option could be this Clima and Sostenibilità. Again, environmental studies and sustainability. At the University of Florence, we have an agreement. We have a solid agreement with the University of Florence, meaning that you can attend what they call single courses, meaning that you don't need to be structured in a degree. You can attend one class, and in some of those schools, you can just pick classes taught directly in English, as we said before. I'm just running on Russia because I want to leave space to Charlotte, Betsy, and Gabi, because it's more interesting to hear from them rather than listening to me giving you this information about academics. In the spring semester, it's quite similar. It's quite similar, and there is no differences at all. And you will have to take the same classes. You have the orientation, and then you can take up to 2 courses at the University of Florence and 2 at the sede, at the Smith in Florence program sede. At the Smith Center in the spring, you will have another very interesting and intriguing Renaissance art history class, which is not a survey again, but it focuses on the great painters and artists of the Renaissance labs. It's not just that they will focus on where the manufactures and the products were made, meaning those schools where they would be training the future artists. Then you have cinema and literature class, which focuses on adaptation of classic literature works into films. And then you have the Practicum course, as I said, plus the courses that you can take at the University of Florence. Same in the spring. The only difference is that at the University of Florence, you probably will not have the same classes that are usually offered in the fall, but that's something that happens in any university in the world. You have courses offered in the fall and courses offered in the spring. It depends. It's pretty unpredictable, and it's a situation that it's not comparable to what you're used to in the US and at Smith specifically, because sometimes you have courses that will learn last minute that they are not running, and Charlotte, Gabi, and Betsy, they can confirm that they did struggle. Charlotte is smiling because they did struggle to find courses that they could attend. So it's just, but it depends. Don't be scared. It's something that can be sorted out in an easy way. Same here. You have some examples of courses offered in English in the School of Political Sciences. And as you see, there are quite interesting courses. And even if these courses are offered at master's level, Charlotte can confirm, she took one of those, they are offered entirely in English, and even the exams are to be taken in English. So just don't be scared. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good. So I saw your faces and just getting close to the screen. And I thought that there might be some issues.
No, it's all good. Yeah.
Okay, good. Here you can see on your left, there is the main classroom in the Florence sede, in the venue. In the center, it's Monica's office. She's the core. She's the heart of the program. And on the right is the library of the center, the La Sede. We call it La Sede. And here you have more pictures taken from, this is the PC lab. And again, you have the library and 2 pictures of the classroom. Monica, can I just hand it to you?
Yeah. Ciao, intanto vi saluto da Firenze, spero di vedervi. Living options in Florence. Until last year, actually this year, students usually lived in homestays, but then now they have options. So you will have an option. You can choose between living in a homestay or share an apartment with the other students in the group. As you can read, you will have a single room and share a bathroom, either with a family or with another student. Usually our homestay families host 1 or 2 students. And of course, by boarding with an Italian host family, students can learn a tremendous amount about Italian culture and, of course, speaking lots of Italian. But also living in apartments can give you the opportunity to learn Italian. First of all, we organize activities with Italian university students, as Charlotte, Gabby, and Betsy can confirm. We had in the fall. So there is still the possibility to be with locals, to engage with locals and learn the language. Of course, the apartment gives a little bit of more freedom, so you can cook for yourself and have more freedom. But both options are good, so it depends on how you feel, because of course we suggest homestays, but not everybody wants to be in a homestay. So even if you choose an apartment, you will have the possibility to engage with locals. And also, we will organize at least once a month a dinner with a local family. So even if you stay in an apartment, you will still have the opportunity to see how locals live, how a host family works. Guido, can you? Grazie. Last fall, we organized some activities, and I'm happy that in spite of the pandemic, we did enough, right? Can you confirm, Charlotte, Gabby, and Betsy? So we were a little bit concerned, but in the end, we were able to do several things. And what we did was, as you can see the pictures, you see the view of the Duomo. We were in the rooftop gardens of a private Palazzo Pucci. Then students attended a restoration workshop. We had cooking classes. We had a pottery workshop. We had an creative recycle workshop. We went to see the soccer game. As you know, soccer in Italy is very important. And in Florence, there is the team of Fiorentina. So locals are very engaged with soccer. And in the spring, we hope to have a 2 or 3 day trip to the Amalfi Coast. And I hope that also next fall, we will be able to offer that. Last fall, of course, we couldn't do a lot because of the pandemic, but still the students had the possibility to travel. We offer them to pay for train tickets to go to Venice and to Rome, and then they traveled a little bit in Europe. So there is a lot to do. Guido? We went to Ravenna to see the mosaics. You can see the picture. And we also organize excursions to other cities, depending also on the interest of the students. Starting this year, we have proposed activities to students, but we wanted to hear their voices. So if they had any proposal, we were happy to organize different activities. So we will be happy to organize, but we want to hear students' voice and hear what they want to do. Guido? Yeah. Here are.
You need to contact us. We can just share. Probably we can just share. Maria, we can share the presentation probably if they want.
Yeah, I can share with you.
Great, great. Okay. Can I stop the screen, sharing my screen?
Yes.
So we can just leave it with our student, brilliant students. No more old people. We want young people speaking.
Yeah.
No more.
We want to hear their
people.
voices.
Do we want to ask any? Do you have any questions that we can start asking Sharon or Betsy?
I have a question. Should we not to make you move, Gabby? Sorry about this, but should we move up there so people can
Sure. Yes.
Come state, Gabby and Betsy? Happy Valentine's.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Questions, guys?
So can you tell them again your majors and what courses you took, or anything you really want to share?
Yeah. So again, I'm Gabby. I'm a biochemistry major and common studies minor. So I did the stylistics class, and then I took the art history class at the SEDE, and then my university class was Jewish culture in Italian at the University of Florence. So that was really cool. And then I also did an immunology internship, not for credit, but hopefully in the future it will be, with Betsy.
And I'm Betsy. I'm a biology major, and I also did the internship, which was actually quite great because it was good to get a little bio in, considering I'm not an Italian major.
But you're an Italian minor now.
I am an Italian minor.
And Gabby's too.
Yes. Interesting thing to note is don't worry about declaring that as soon as possible, because we both declared it after we got back from our study abroad, because I wanted to wait to see if I'd get the credits and all, and then it ended up working out. So then I declared my senior spring. So yeah, and I don't know, we both stayed in the homestay. Or no, that's the opposite of what we did. We stayed in the apartment, and probably, yeah, you didn't hear that, you people on the screen. Yeah, just ignore that. And it was a little interesting because at the time were 4 people in our program, because I guess people weren't as optimistic that this fall would go ahead. So everyone in our program stayed in the same apartment, which will not happen with you guys. But I liked it, actually. I thought it was quite good. We still had tons of opportunities to learn Italian.
Yeah, their story is very different from yours because they, the program was canceled last year, so they were getting ready to go, and then the pandemic happened. They took a leave of absence. Both of you, right? Oh no,
I could.
Okay, but we were all home, and we were like, hey, it was fun. We were all home. I kept sending emails saying, next year, I promise you the program will reopen. Are you still interested? it was, we're so happy that we got the four of them to, to be there. But it would, there's a bigger group right now, right, Monica and Guido?
We have 13 students now.
So yeah, it's and it's looking better, right? I mean, it felt like it was pretty safe and organized for you in the fall.
Yes.
And of course, there's rules, just like we have rules now on campus, but it's doable and it feels safe, and it is safe. And so, yeah, don't be afraid.
And one last thing I'm remembering is, Charlotte, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. I am Charlotte. I am currently in Florence. I was there in the fall, and so I did the year-long program along with our other student, Anna. And yeah, it's absolutely great. I love it here. You should all do it if you're interested. I'm an Italian and government double major. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was my question. Italian and gov.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and the program's really nice because you're still able to do a double major in something. And I haven't had any problems with fulfilling the requirements for either major. So it's really flexible for people that just want to study Italian, or people that have another major, or even if you're not majoring in Italian like Betsy and Gabby. So there's a lot of flexibility and it's really nice.
Good. So what would you say to people who are scared right now of the idea, or even like thinking, should I apply or not? Or maybe they applied or getting like, uh-oh, did I do the right thing? How can you convince them that it's the right thing to do?
I think my biggest fear was that my Italian wasn't good enough. But definitely once you get there, there's like a week-long period of some panic, but you pick it up as you go, and it gets a lot better. So I think if that is your worry, don't worry too much. Your Italian will get better through your classes and through meeting people, and then you might have some time to speak English just to calm yourself down a little bit. So
The university class is a good opportunity to get a little bit of English in. Like Gabby did her one in Italian, but like I did mine in English just because I wanted a little bit of a break.
And there's tutors, right? If I don't know if you,
Yes.
Right? I don't know, Willow, if you want to say that about.
Yeah. That's something that might come as a relief. Know that we are not just leaving you on your own in such a apparently scary experience as it might be taking a class at the University of Florence in Italian. Obviously, we can rely on tutors. Who are those people? Basically, it works in a very simple way. When we understand what's the decision made by a student, meaning that a student has decided to take that specific class, and that student comes to me and Monica asking for a tutor. I reach out to my colleague at the University of Florence and I ask whether that colleague can indicate to me a former student or a PhD student, someone who has already taken a class with that professor who can help. Can be just help in the preparation of the exam, or in on how to study or to get prepared for the exam in the long term, meaning that they can confirm, Gabby can confirm, for example, that we had a young PhD student who was just helping to structure the study, because it's different, it works in a completely different way. But you will not be left on your own. You will have the possibility to rely on tutors, and will be always there for you. Charlotte, Gabby, and Betsy, they can confirm. They attended the class. They took. Can you confirm? I mean, just they took the class from remote. They took the exam when they were in the US. Am I correct? Can you elaborate a little bit on that, Betsy, given that I see you, about taking which is something that can be scary as an idea, just taking an exam from remote. But I mean, just can I say that our colleagues at the University of Florence were relatively flexible, or very flexible? Can we say that?
Yes, I would say so. Just Gabby had a meeting, so
Yeah. Don't worry.
but I would say instead of having Zoom, they use a platform called Cisco. So you just download that, and the professor will do the exam, which generally at the end of the year, the exam will be an oral exam, which is a bit different than how it is here. But honestly, the professors are pretty accommodating. They're not too hard. They just want to hear that you like went to the class and learned something, and you just need to talk about like, oh, I learned this in the class, and then like it's perfect, you're done. But you do it, and it's 15 minutes to half an hour of talking with the professor, and you're done. So it wasn't too hard. Yeah. What did you think, Charlotte?
Yeah, exactly. I was asking you, Charlotte, because your course was a part of a master's degree.
Yes. It was definitely, I was definitely really scared of it going into it because it was so different than the way Smith classes are structured. But the professor was really, really helpful. And, you know, there were a few questions where I wasn't completely sure, and she sort of guided me through it. And so it wasn't like, you know, your worst fear of sitting, you know, in a Zoom call and, you know, everyone's staring at you. It was very, very flexible, like sort of like a worm testing environment. But it all ended up okay. And I feel like I was stressing out for nothing. So it worked out in the end. So it was definitely a positive experience.
May I say, Guido, that we receive comments and messages from university professors who say that our students are very committed, very serious, and they are very, very happy with their presence in their classes. So as soon as they know that our Smith students want to take their classes, they are very welcoming because they know that we have a long tradition of committed and serious students. And so they will welcome you and they will help you. So this is something important to know. And
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah, I can confirm, and every single term, and I'm not just saying that because I want to please you or I want to advertise the program, which is one of the scope, one of the aim of the day. But I mean, just even last fall, I did receive messages from two of the professors who taught the classes taken by our students. They were just congratulating for how committed were the students, and you know why? Because in their classes. They happen to have on top of Smith students, even students enrolled in other study abroad programs from other universities. So they could compare how committed and serious are the Smith students compared to other international students or American students. And that's why they sent such emails to me, which and years ago I was surprised, but now I'm not surprised. I mean, just something that I'm expecting, and I would be surprised if I were not receiving those emails, because every single time you can bet on that you will be receiving messages of that kind. I mean, just I was very pleased, and on top of that, in many cases they are impressed by how well Smith students, they master Italian language compared to they have to the students from other study abroad programs or students from the exchange European Erasmus program, which is an exchange program in which you have students from a university in Europe coming to Florence and the corresponding amount of students getting to that university, and some of them they don't speak Italian. So I mean, just those faculty sometimes they struggle because I mean they are not very fluent in English, so it's a mismatch. Whereas with the Smith students, usually never happens.
We should all applaud Simone and Maria, who through the pandemic have brought so many students to Italian, and I actually had some of them in the intermediate conversation in the fall, and I could not believe that they had only learned Italian online, some for a semester. So.
I just want to say it's a very natural fear to have, like Gabby and Betsy are saying, when you're about to get there and you're scared, it's very normal, but we would never send you off to Italy if they are not even ready and able to do it. So, we would tell you, and the requirements that we have, it might feel like a lot, in a way it is, but then it pays off because when you're there, you can actually experience so much more, not only, do well in your classes, but understand so much more that is going on around you. It's really a huge payoff. You can immerse yourself so much more. And like you're saying, of most of the American students are not as prepared as you are when you get there. And you feel so proud of yourself for all you can do when you're there.
Maria and Simone and also Giovanna and maybe I see Anna there. Ciao, Anna. We want to thank you because students this year are very, very well prepared. Both students from the fall and those who arrived in January, who are here.
Absolutely.
Their level of Italian is incredible. Not only the level of Italian, the level of enthusiasm, the patience, because going through a pandemic and being abroad is not easy. They are really, really good. So I think we should, praise you and of course the students, but you did a great job. So I'm very grateful.
It's so nice to hear. I'm so happy. And plus, don't we all?
Oh, it was not easy.
Yeah, the organization in Florence with all these amazing possibilities now that we didn't have before. And I know it wasn't easy, Guido and Monica, to come up with them and get the college to approve them and all these changes. But I think, as you can see, the numbers speak for themselves. I think there is so much more we can do now in our program. And, so that's important. Please help spread the word because so many people think that they can only go if they're Italian majors. They don't realize, I get students from, I've been here a long time. I'm retiring in May and I've been here 38 years. And believe me, I have students who are almost close to my age and they still remember this particular time in Florence as the biggest thing that happened in their life. It changed their perspective. No matter what they did, it stayed with them. So do it while you can, because once you graduate, you will never have the time to take and go for a semester, for a year, to immerse yourself in another culture. And that is what you need to do.
And to have the kind of support that you have when you go with Smith, like the network support that is there will never be there for you, even if you go later in graduate school or whatever. So this is the time if you're thinking about it. Like Giovanna said, nobody comes back saying, I wish I didn't go. But we do hear several times, I wish I did go. Oh,
I have one who hasn't gone 30 years ago that every year says, I know you insisted, but you should have insisted more. And I said, well, I tried my best. You didn't go. Remember Cara Ryan? She still comes to Florence on her own. So you need to think seriously about what's happening to the world, what is needed in the next, the end of the century is people who are really understand our cultures, who speak their language, and you will be those. No matter what job you're in, you'll be different. It will set you apart. So do it. Don't get cold feet. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Right,
We want to see you in Florence.
So hard through the pandemic.
It was heartbreaking, like spring 2020 when our students were ready to go, and I'm so happy the three of them got to go. It was sad, but you're lucky in a way that you're here now, ready to go now. It would be, they opened the way, and they can tell you that it can be done. It would be fun. Any other specific questions for Betsy and Charlotte? Non-academic related, like highlights.
Fun activities, nightlife.
Up, no.
Yeah, we have to give up after the boring stuff, after the boring academic stuff. We have just to talk about something which is
actually
fun.
poor them. Everything was closed for the pandemic. So there were some bars.
I heard the nightclubs reopened.
Yeah, it was on Friday. On Friday, discos and disco pubs, discotheques, they open back to normal business on Friday.
And after after we get the question, I think one important thing that always comes up and we shouldn't forget is the economic issue. Can you afford to go? But many students think that they cannot afford to go, that they will have issues once they're there. Maybe we should say a few words about that. From the students, do you save money before going?
I will say some short things because I'm looking at the clock a little bit and I'm conscious some of you may have 110
Yeah.
classes, myself included. But I would say that you get a $500 or euro food stipend every month, and that more than covered like my food expenses. I was able to spend it on other things, which was cool. No, which I didn't do. I spent it on food because I was, no, but okay.
That's your lunch, right? Is your lunch money?
It was my lunch money. No,
And
it
if
was-
you're good and you
It,
know
wa-
how-
it was, Betsy, it was not only lunch money, it was for all the meals,
Mhm.
Because they live
right? Because you were in an
in-
apartment.
less for lunch
Yeah.
and then dinner with the family and breakfast with the family.
But everyone gets lunch money. What is that now, Monica?
Yeah, everybody gets lunch money, and lunch money is usually for those students who are accommodated with home stay families, and those who are in apartments receive a food, what we call a food stipend. And also, I wanted to say that we have some discretionary funds to help students who come to Florence and who would like to do activities and travel, and who cannot afford. So we have some discretionary funds, and also we have funds for independent travel and cultural activities. So for example, this year, each student had 150 euros per semester, and they bring me the tickets for museums, for trains, for other, what we call cultural activities, but it is the student who chooses which is for them a cultural activity. It can also be a pizza, a real pizza in Naples, or it can be I don't know, an art exhibit, anything that for the student is considered cultural enrichment. They come to me and we reimburse up to 150 euros. And you use them, right, Charlotte and Betsy, for things that you wanted to do that were not organized by the program, but were just for you, independent activities.
And when you're in Florence and in Italy in general, you will really be able to be independent.
Yeah.
Public transportation is great. You can really get anywhere you want. And also back to the budget, they will help you learn how to budget your money and where to go shop. And so yeah, Italy can be expensive, but there's also ways of spending less money, and they will help you in every aspect of your day-to-day experience. So,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, question?
I can ask another question.
Yeah,
I was just wondering about travel.
okay. Yeah, people travel, right, Monica? They travel with each other independently sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, and we also give them a bus monthly pass or bus tickets, so they can also explore fields of Florence with the bus pass. And then there are many activities organized in the classes, museums, labs. And also, if you book along in advance, or there are certain days when there are very low rates for trains, for example. So we usually tell them how to navigate the website of the train companies. It's easy. For example, you can go to Rome for 30 euros round trip. So it's really convenient. What?
Monica, I mean, if you get there in an hour and a half, downtown to downtown.
Yeah, right. Downtown to downtown. Train system in Italy is incredible. I mean, you can take a train. Do you confirm, Charlotte? You can take a train and go everywhere. There are local
Yeah,
trains.
I always say
it's really easy to use.
Yeah, you went to Venice, Charlotte, right? You went to Venice, to Rome. Where else did you go?
Well, Gabby was the one that went to Venice, but Betsy and I both went to Bologna and Milan, which were great.
All of those, it's a one-day trip. It's
Yeah.
you set off in the morning and you get back before evening. I mean, just yeah, by dinner, by supper, you'll be back to Florence, because I mean, just in a couple of hours, you'll be in Naples. Even less, I mean, Venice, a couple of hours.
Right? There you can see so many towns in Tuscany. You don't have to go far.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah. For example, for this month of February, since there were very high numbers of positive people, now the situation is improving, but we asked the students not to take train, not to fly or take long distance trains, so they will travel locally, and there are so many things that you can do even in Tuscany. Just 50 minutes train, 1 hour train, you can go to Lucca, to Pisa, Arezzo, Livorno, very nice cities, and also to the beach. It's not the time of the year.
I think just to give them an idea, if we had the trains we have in Italy, we could be in Boston in 45 minutes. And we have them every hour, basically. If you buy the tickets early enough, they're not that expensive. We'd be in New York in an hour and a half. It drives me crazy that we don't have that here.
Yeah. Gabby's back. Gabby, where did you go? Where did you travel?
Oh, where did I travel?
Yeah.
I believe we did a day trip to Pisa.
Oh, right.
We nearly did a day trip to Siena, but I messed up the bus schedule. We of course did the Ravenna trip, and then I went to Prague a few times.
A few times.
Yes, my girlfriend was here.
Oh, okay.
We did a trip to Budapest for a weekend. That was really fun. And then we went to Fiesole using the like city bus that gives you like a passport, so that was really easy. Chianti. And then after the program finished, I stayed for Europe, so I went to the French Alps, and I went to Marseille, and I went to Spain, Portugal.
Wow.
I got a lot of my time.
Wow.
So yeah, if you want like cheap travel tips, definitely ask.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we hear that, who doesn't want to go? You know, like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Right, Nicole?
That wasn't targeted at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a few undecided people, but we are working on that.
We need the support of everyone. So once one starts going and the friends start going, it makes it into a wonderful group.
Yeah. And fall semester is just as beautiful as spring, right, Gabby? I mean, the year, that would be so nice to do an entire, year there. Don't you, like, I know you're a senior, you're graduating, but don't you think it would be nice to be there for 2 semesters if you?
Oh yeah, I was super jealous of like the spring things that would get advertised to us in the fall. Like, I think there's usually a trip to Venice for fall. So when I went, actually, I also went to I went when it was like the flooding season, so I'm sure when it is fall season.
But I think that Charlotte can, and you can confirm that at the end of the first semester, you feel that you're finally really enjoying everything. Like your language skills are so much better than if you stayed. You would feel like, the enjoyment would be great. Like when you go to the semester, think about it. You go to just a semester, then as soon as you start being comfortable, oops, it's time to go home. But we do have a year option, so do consider that. Okay, grazie.
Grazie a voi.
Grazie a voi. Come to Florence. Come to Florence.
Come to Florence.
We want you here.
Okay, I'll be there in June and then in October.
Buon San Valentino a tutti.
Buon San Valentino a tutti.
Ciao.
Happy Valentine.
Happy
Ciao.
Ciao, ci
Valentine.
sentiamo
Grazie
presto.
Maria.
Grazie
Ci
a
vediamo
voi.
la prossima settimana.
Charlotte, grazie mille.
Grazie,
Charlotte, grazie
Charlotte.
mille.
Ciao.
Gabby e Betsy, grazie mille.
Grazie a
Davvero,
tutti.
grazie.
Ciao.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao.